something smells, and it is our rotting healthcare system. But you can solve it with group visits, and I'm going to show you how. My name is Dr. Lara Salyer, and we're going to take your right brain out to open up its creative space and allow you to innovate your own private medical practice. Group visits are not something new, but the way that I run them is quite unique, and I'm going to show you all of my steps. But first, let's look at why we need to even think about group visits. It's all in the numbers. Now, I don't like math. I absolutely hate math. These numbers are easy to understand. It's pretty striking and black and white. We don't have enough healthcare entrepreneurs, physicians, nurses, medical workers to take care of the chronic disease burden that our patients have. It's pretty simple. Doctors are retiring earlier. They are dying by suicide. They are overdosing on illicit drugs. And basically, we don't even have enough residency spots for the bare minimum medical students that we're graduating. It's a dire mess, and we need to fix it. It won't happen overnight, but this is one way that we can plant those seeds and set a trajectory of improvement. We are operating under a very antiquated delivery of medical care. The expectation that all healing happens in a one-on-one visit with a physician, that patients must wait and bring every single concern to that one visit. And we've shrunk that visit to 15 minutes and then expected patients to carry out the plan until we see them in follow-up 3 months later. Now, of course, there's acute things that happen that require a visit. But even then, the ability for a patient to know what is acute and what is something that can wait has become completely disconnected with the Google and internet. We can Google our fears, and anxiety can rise, and it's become a security blanket to have a medical appointment and speak to your doctor. And that's going to stretch us too thin. We don't have enough room for one-on-one visits. So these two truths everybody can agree on is we could have greater health for everybody with their chronic disease if we simply focused on the main lifestyle habits of protecting your sleep and circadian rhythms, eating healthier, moving your body, avoiding toxins, whether it's in your environment or in food. We can all agree on that. Especially, we can agree on if you learn coping skills, communication skills, emotional intelligence skills that can help you tap into unhealed trauma. If we all did these basic things, we wouldn't need physicians as much. But we also can agree that our antiquated medical system is not working. We have disempowered patients by assuming that the doctor is there to fix them, and really that wasn't the purpose. Long ago, doctors were teaching patients how to be healthy and helping them, but now there's such a chasm, a disconnect. We need to go back to the old roots of Chinese medicine, where if you look back in Chinese medicine, 3,000 years, they have a system where the doctor only gets paid if the patient is healthy. And when they fall ill or become sick, it's considered a fracture, and the doctor didn't do their due diligence, so the care is free until they are back well again. Unfortunately, that wouldn't work in America, but the idea is where we're aiming at, that if we empower enough patients to turn that lens back on themselves and really help them, give them the tools to succeed, we might lessen the burden and the need for doctors to be ever present in the one-on-one visit. So how do I do this? Everybody's been asking, how do I run group visits? I've been doing this for 1.5 years as a solo functional medicine doctor in my own micro practice. Well, I'll show you how, but in a moment, I'm going to tell you why. The reason I do this is not just to serve the patients, not just to serve the patients at that moment. It is also a very big value proposition for my membership service. When a patient works with me, they are in a membership style practice. So they have a specific amount of private time that they get with me every month, but they also get access to me every week in what I call open office hours, where I show up consistently and I am there. And this is a security because they know they don't have to save all their complaints or concerns until their next private visit. They know they have a reliable touchstone. They can meet with me and ask their questions and meet others as well. So it allows them to also just feel that they're being cared for and supported and can implement some of these behavioral changes that we're making to improve their health. The reason group visits are also wonderful for any doctor is that it helps a patient see that not everything is acute, not everything needs attention, that we can let things breathe and have more of a slow cook approach to health rather than fast food. And it is repurposable, it is scalable. Group visits can be recorded when I show you my method, and they can be reused later as homework assignments for a patient in between office visits. And again, the reason I love them is the empowerment that it gives the patient. It's like they get a little bit of that power back and they feel more hopeful. So how do I do it? I'll tell you how. Basic kinds of groups, and there are many, there's process groups, skills groups, peer support groups. We're probably familiar with diabetic education. I mean, that's a common group. There's a lot of groups for surgery now. If you're going in for a knee replacement, often they'll have educational groups that you learn about post-op recovery. These have been shown to improve outcomes. Why aren't we doing this more often? We need to be. So how do I make this work? Now, I don't have enough patients to divide up into different diagnoses like diabetes or like hormone or stress HPA axis. So instead I have a unique blend. It's a combination, a freestyle combination of educational and peer support. And so this is how I do it. Every Thursday at 6 o'clock on Zoom, I host my open office hours. And I call them that because it's an academic phrasing. It is not really a shared group visit. It is an educational and peer-led group. So I open with a little bit of a right brain activity to get their neuroplasticity going, to ground them in what we're doing. And I record this on my Zoom webinar platform. It is just me and my PowerPoint slides. So there is no HIPAA breaching. It is educational and it is a one-way directional format. Oftentimes I'm repurposing content I just learned at a conference, or I'm answering questions that they have given to me ahead of time from the week. So if a patient has a question in the portal, I'll just tell them come to open office hours and I'll answer it in a general format. Now, the best thing about this is I can use these later for when I have a patient in my office for their private visit. I'm trying to maximize this for their benefit. And oftentimes they come up with great questions that we run out of time for. So this is my perfect solution to that doorknob question. If they say, oh, I wanted to learn about low-dose naltrexone, I can say, well, we only have 2 minutes left, but you know what? I did a 30-minute group visit on it, May 2020. You should check out the recording, and I dropped the link in. So that's the first 30 minutes. Now the second 30 minutes is where the real magic happens. That's when we transition from the webinar to a Zoom room. And we don't use the recordings. The camera's off, we aren't recording anything, and people have the option of keeping their video on or off, the mic on or off, but they're there to show up and hold space. Oftentimes, we are just freely exchanging our ideas, but there is a method. I start off by circling around the room and asking, what are you proud of this week? What are you celebrating? What are you winning at and you're happy to share? And after we do that and congratulate our patient members, then we go through and ask, what are you struggling with? What is specific that's on your mind? What is something you'd like answers for? And this is where the magic is, because nobody is quite fully the teacher in a facilitated group visit. We're all sharing. Sure, I might give a little bit of medical advice in a general way if they feel comfortable talking about their own situation, but really it's for the greater good. Patients hear about others' journeys and realize they're not alone, that somebody else has had that same struggle, and then they might hear about a functional test that person got. It might make them think that might apply to me too. And so we're able to support each other. They're sharing recipes, they're recommending sales from a different store that might be selling, their vegetables at this farmer's market in a different price. It's really fun to see the friendships that have happened, and it's morphed into a happy hour where it just feels like the best hour of the week. We're now expanding it to offer giveaways every quarter, and it's just really fun to watch this community grow, all because of the same goal, that we just want to be healthy and we just want to thrive. And all you have to do is start. Just start and expect that you're going to get crickets. Not every week is going to be a win, but you have to be consistent, and it's never a waste. If you record your session, it just becomes an archived recording you can refer back to. So just start. Just commit for 6 months to doing this once a week and just start coloring outside the lines of how you can serve your patients with more expert advice and creativity and fun. And let me know how